Have you ever wondered what the life of an instrumentalist is like? Why they play what they play and what drives them? Oh, have you thought about why you love a particular song? Instrumentalists, they give us the best in music, and yet we don't appreciate them as much as we ought to. And so, we bring you your favorite instrumentalist and everything that concerns them. Tighten your seatbelts, relax, and enjoy as we take you on this wonderful journey of learning and exploration on the Behind the Music Show with your hosts Eza and Lutz Devi. Hi everyone, this is yet another session of the Behind the Music Show. We are so honored that you're taking the time to watch our videos. Thank you. We can never say enough thank you, but thank you so much for following us on the different media platforms. We are on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and yes, right here on YouTube. So thank you so much. My name is Eza. Welcome to the show. Now, on the show today is a gentleman that I cannot find the specific word to describe him. I'm going to say that he is all sorts of things. He happens to do so many things, and we want to find out how does he do them, why does he do them, yes, the motivation and all that. Please welcome with me, Albert Cook.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm good.
I called you Albert Cook earlier.
Oh, yeah, it's actually Albert Kwesiga.
Like you really have the cook there.
Yes, it is. And I always wondered how. And then I got to realize, my mom told me what's unique about it is, okay, first of all, I was born in Albert Cook Ward. One of the pioneers of Albert Cook Ward in Mengo Hospital. It was fairly new then, I guess. And Albert Cook Ward was, I think, the ward for giving birth to children in or something. So I did not ask many details in case a saucepan would follow me, so left it at Albert Cook. I told her, what's the difference between why am I Albert Cook? What about the other explorer who discovered the cure for sleeping sickness? What was he called then? She said, he was Albert Cook. For you, you're Albert Cook. So, yes, I am Albert Cook, Kwesiga.
Albert, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I thought for a moment maybe you're a relation of him.
Well, no.
You know, I'm beginning to believe anything is possible. So
2020 can make you believe things. But yeah, yes, I get you.
So have you been, Albert?
I've been well. God is gracious. God is faithful. God is keeping. I'm fine.
Amen. So who is Albert?
Who is Albert? Albert is which perspective do you want? Like you said, I have so many things. If you look at me, I'm a worshipper. I love to worship God in everything that I do. I'm a worshipper. I love to, maybe let me start even with what I'm doing right now. I love to play. Like 24/7, even when I don't have anything in front of me, be sure that an instrument is playing in my mind. Of course, I'm attentive when talking to people. I just happen to have music going. So the people who know me will say that it's easy for me to sing out anything. Like you can do something and I can just come up with a melody like that because it was already running in my head. So yeah, there's that part. So I'm a worshiper, I'm a keyboard player. I play a couple of other instruments as well. I love to play bass. I play acoustic guitar. I don't say I play with the drums. I'm a decent drummer. Though I'm not recognized as that, but I play drums. But that's not something I put on shelf. So mainly I'm probably known for keys, bass, acoustic, and singing. I train singers. I'm a producer. I love to produce music, make good sound. I love to see what people have in their heads, bring it down, put it all together and come up with some nice melodies. I love to do that. I do that. What else am I? I'm even trying to remember them right now. I love fun. I love, is that even like a real answer? I love to be happy and encourage people, help them get to their destinies. I really love to pass on knowledge at all forms of whatever I can do. I love to pass on knowledge, like making sure. So if I'm in a place, there's going to be either I'm taking knowledge or passing on knowledge. directly or indirectly, because I get excited when I see people, you know, you probably get this person knowledge, then they take the thing you have given them and make it better because they've added their thing to that thing. And the concoction is so beautiful, you end up going like, okay, now teach me. You're the one who probably pass it on. So yeah, I don't know. The answers are many. I think I could work with those. I don't know. Since the show is behind the music, so I'll keep it musically related.
Okay, it's good to know that's quite a lot. It is quite a lot. How did you start your musical journey?
I started my musical journey as a child. My mother, first of all, I come from a family of people that is musical. My late grandfather, musician, my late grandmother, musician. But like back in the day, I mean, prayers they would do music all over the place. And then my mom loves music. She actually helped me learn hymns a lot. So I found she loves music and loves to sing. And so when we showed interest, me and my brother and my sister, when we showed interest, she facilitated that interest by buying different toys. Different toy pianos and things you have, play and, you know, do whatever kids do. And by the age of 3, I was actually playing hymns in a church.
By 3? Okay. Sunday school or?
No, main church.
Main church.
Like my brother is older, you have a brother, he's older, so priority was given to him. So of course I'll be like, this young one, it's just going to be running around disturbing things. But then when he wasn't there, I would cover cups and they would, you know, be keen, because I would love to stand in service at St. John's Church, Kamocha. It used to be called Benaisa's Church, St. John's Church, Kamocha. I would stand, and there's a gentleman called, he was called George Akol. I think he passed on. He used to play the thing that looked like a keyboard. I got to realize that it was an accordion. So there's a boy always pumping, and this guy would play hymns well, Jolly, and he's like, you know, and he's just like, great is thy faithfulness, O Lord my Father, and he's playing and he's singing and he's doing the hymns for the church, and it was on a bench, a proper bench. So you know how you sit on a bench. So this other guy is pumping, this other guy is moving, the church is singing, but that thing was super loud, and so I used to love. I would literally come and stand the whole service just looking like. So I guess that also helped, you know, and my mom would let me. So eventually, those are bits and pieces of how I started to pick up. I was playing this, doing that. Then I started playing local. Those days, drums were not as common as they are now. We had the churches that could afford drums were like Miracle Center. But Miracle Center was there for a while, so you'd hear, hey, they brought drums in Miracle. Like, hey, then you'd wait for a day. They take you guys and just go to look at
to look at the drums.
Yeah, it's not the Miracle Center you know today. It was a much smaller place, but somehow Pastor Robert Kayanja had access to equipment from long ago. He had gear. So it was a much smaller location, but the thing is, small or not, they had machines. That's why they were accordion, and then you'd come back and try to mimic what they have, and then we would play local drums. Then if you watch like TV, you see guys hitting things. So me and my friend Philip Okello, we used to flip the drums upside down. One drum, the small, you know, it's big drums, one part like this, then the big part like that, and try to play them like real drums, playing beats for that. So that interest also picked in. Guitar came much later, because I think I perfected playing guitar in secondary, in O level, because by that time I was really adept in keyboard and all, and then guitar came up, and then there was these boys who would come with the guitarists. They'd come, as guitarists, and when they show up, the advantage they had over you is they didn't need electricity. A guitar, you just play and you hear the sound. So they didn't need electricity, and me, I used to feel challenged because me, I had to be near a socket all the time when I'm seeing these guys have guitars. So I was like, share. So I started, you know, playing around it, to cut my fingers, do this, and of course they wouldn't teach because you take their swag. Then eventually I learned guitar, perfected it around there, and then bass guitar came a bit later through Watoto, when I was, you know, I was just dabbling in different things, and there was an opportunity basis, so I not that many. So I was really playing acoustic. I'm like, why can't I just transition to this other thing? So I would pick it up and start playing, but I would play a service on one string from here to there. After you leave, you have your ice nearby because the fingers would have blisters. Then eventually I became adept at it as well. Then singing, I've sang all my life. Is that an instrument? Because you asked me how did I... Musical journey, okay.
Journey, yes.
Singing, I've sang all my life. I've sang, always had family altar hymns, and so singing has been part of the whole shebang. So singing, I've done that. That's been more. Then the other skills, of course, you pick up along the way, and the opportunity of being exposed to many different environments in different churches, different places. One of the experiences that changed my life a lot was going through Watoto. When those people tell you that Watoto changes your story, it is real. You actually get exposed to things. Pastor Gary and Auntie Marilyn are really phenomenal leaders. Like, they really, if you want to learn, you learn. If you don't want to learn, you go out the way you came. They're really phenomenal in the teaching excellence and skills, so I picked up a lot from there as well. By that time, production had already kicked in, and my aim of starting a studio was really not to do people's music. It was to do my music, because I write. So I thought, let me have a place where I can do my own thing. So I hustled. That journey is for another season. I did my own hustle, spent nights awake in people's studios. Back in the day, like maybe any chance I was there. So for me, it's really been, one, it's the gifting and my calling, then also observation. And I have this thing of, I just look at someone do something once, I'm able to. It just comes, because I see music through colors. It's weird, but it's true. I'm able to play a song I've never heard before, just you sing and I follow you, because I see the way you would see a person walking and follow them, like if they're dodging a paddle or dodging something. Me, I'm seeing musical things floating around them through colors, and I used to think everyone sees like that. Till you tell someone, look, and they're like, eh? And then you realize, this thing is not for telling everyone. So yeah, that's...
just to avoid being called weird or crazy. But I like weird. I really, really like weird, because when you're weird, for me, someone will call it weird. I call it being unique. Because someone just doesn't understand what you are and who you are. So I think there's nothing wrong with being weird.
Okay, I guess context also works.
Because sometimes you do things or you say things and everyone feels like, that is weird. I feel they say it's weird because they're just not exposed to it, or they're not familiar with it.
Yeah.
But the moment they get familiar with it, they don't think it's weird anymore. Yeah, so weird is good. So do you have any inspirations? Anyone that inspires you?
I do actually, because I know there are lots of good people out there, people who I look up to, and I think for me, that question, I can answer it in two ways. I don't have permanent inspirations. It's just like you see this person and you're so, like taken up by them, and maybe they're this musician or writer, and and then you start picking up on them, thanking God for the first thing I do when I see someone that really speaks out to me, I first bless the Lord for them. Maybe learn as much as I can from them, spend time with them if they're around. And then after a while, when I can do what they can do, or we can talk the same language, another inspiration pops up. I'm like, oh, there's this person, and like, so for me, I don't have a permanent inspiration, but the current people on the list. Sorry for the lengthy explanation. The current people on the list are, if you're talking, do I start locally, internationally, or just to talk?
Just talk.
As far as production is concerned, I like the production because we kind of flow in the same thing. There's this guy, Aaron Lindsay. He moves with Israel Hilton everywhere. My goodness, his arrangements are off the charts. They're really off the charts. They're really exhilarating. They're good, and he has his own studio. Then you read about him. He's done work for. Now you find a legacy. He's the producer. He does keys for Marvin Sapp. He's done stuff for Mika Stampley. And you're like, oh, this guy has a legacy. I really want to do stuff like that because it's cool. It speaks to me. He loves the Lord, and music is, So there's that guy. Then there's the one whom I think every keyboardist knows this one, Corey Henry. That man defies all odds on this instrument. He literally defies them. He does things and you're like, okay. And you go back. You first watch him, you get humbled. Then you go back. Remember, so it's Corey Henry. Corey Henry, sorry. But that Henley. Okay, Henry. So then we also have, well, that means I should come back to our country here. Around there are lots of great musicians that get inspired by the likes. There's a guy who, he's very rare to be found in places. But I had the privilege of serving with him at Watoto. He's a very awesome musician called Jude Kiracho.
Jude Kiracho.
Yes. I think he moved on, he went to Mavuno Church at some point, but Jude Kiracho is a package. We flow in the same line. Jude is an awesome bassist, awesome keyboard player. This is the one guy I've seen when he enters a studio to do. He can enter your studio and he'll leave making you feel it was not yours. He'll use things, so this is what you have, and he'll use it, and then you're like, hey, you mean my stuff can do this? He's really gifted, he's really anointed, he's really talented. Jude is, for me, I still think this guy is, he's older, but he's solid. He loves the Lord, he loves his family, he's just an amazing guy. That's one of the guys, as in, you need to have an experience with this guy in studio, then he's really got. Then we also have guys like Sam Bisaso, Blacksmith Records. I don't know if you know him. Yeah, he does production for Brian Omega. Sam is the perfect definition of calm. Calm but precise. Doesn't say much with his mouth, but let him do. For he's an awesome bassist, incredible keyboard player, and a great producer. His work is all over the place. Then we have Neil Muhire, C19. Nelson actually has had passion for music from back in the day. He studied these things, and his arrangements, actually he leads a group called The Collective. His work is really, it's amazing. It's just amazing how he puts his things together, and there's all sorts of great guys around here. Those are now in the producer range. As far as keyboard players are concerned. Now these guys, the ones I've talked about, Neil is a guitarist first. And Jude is a keyboard player, bassist and all that. Sam is the same thing, keyboard, bassist. And if you're talking of keyboard players who really play very nice things, in the guys that I know play very nice things you want to sit and, there's Pragmo. David Nsaga, I think he's not in the country now, but Pragmo, is an awesome musician. And he has a heart for God. He's really, really awesome to listen to. And he has these things he puts in and you're like, okay. And then, then my own brother, Festo. Festo is a guy who listens to songs, listen to music, replicate it for you, and without even blinking. And he was like, he's more into keys and arrangement of choirs and stuff. He's also good. And there's a bunch of other people. I'm sorry, I've not mentioned all of them. Some of them younger than us. Like we have the guys. There's a brilliant keyboardist, Enoch Lugumba. Then we have the names are all running out of me. Micho Ainebiona, good musician. We have those as far as keyboardists are concerned. Bassists, we have Pascal. This guy makes the best talk. We have Pascal. We have Desire. There's a bunch of them. So I feel that the people I mentioned first really strike something. The next batch along the lines that I've not yet mentioned, they are there. There are so many, I just can't remember them. But yeah, stuff like that. That's as far as instruments is concerned. If you're looking at vocally, there are many. Steve Keys sings really nicely, plays keyboard and backs himself up, We have, of course, Brian Lugaiga, minus the gospel artists, Sam Chimera's tone, on point, awesome song. That guy's songs, when you listen to them, actually once told him, you write like as if you know what we're going through. He has his lyrics on point. And there are other many great people out there. Salome, there's so many people, I can't mention them all. So I don't have permanent inspirations. But there's just the whole music community at large, with the first key people I mentioned, really speak out to me here. Then when you take it out of Uganda, I think I would just, if you want me to choose one, I'll go with Aaron Lindsay and probably Corey Henry.
Okay. Speaking of inspiration, you seem yourself to have inspired quite a number of people. We once had an interview with Mark Langer, great saxophonist, and he mentioned you. Because it's easy to be good at what you do, but then keep it to yourself. So what is that driving factor that makes you feel I need to pass on because it's like passing on a legacy
Yeah.
to someone else. What is that driving force that makes you feel like, no, I need to teach someone something, I need to inspire them, you know?
The driving force behind that is, the very first one is the thought of, I love to see what people have in them. I like new things too. And sometimes, for some people, they'll put it out there and do something for your life, and you're like, oh, this is really nice. But for other people, you'll find that you need to first, they have the fire. Mm-hmm. It's there. They have the wick, the thing that you light. So you just need to add a spark. That's you passing on. And when they pick it up, their them, if that English is there, their them comes out. And then it's so amazing. So for me, the fact that there's a new thing, because I believe you can't exhaust music. You can't. And in the Bible, it's proof that even the greatest musicians, when they go up there, they're like, this is like this. So I'm trying to, I don't want to say live heaven on earth. The thing that makes me want to pass on the mantle is the fact that I love to experience what other people have and see how it impacts the community. It's really nice. That's my driving factor too. To say I need to give it out, and I also have these things, and I would love to see what people do with what I've given them, because it's like you're setting up your own movie. If you pour out into someone, then you get to sit and watch and experience what they. It's just that logic of I've put in now, let me watch. Play. This is nice. So it's really it's just me.
Wow. About the writing, did you already know you were a writer, or is it something that you picked up along the way?
So I wish my mom was there to answer that. I think I used to write from way back, because I used to write poems. I got into trouble for one. I knew my poems back, they were honest.
What was it about?
There were many. Like, I would just write things. I would see things and hear things. Maybe a thing I've forgotten to add is, for me, music, minus being born with it in the family, God taught me. I had these personal experiences whereby back in the day, people would chase you from instruments. Those days they brought their keyboard, they come, but there's an old man would come with a whip or something. Move! Before the little judge called past the church bought a Casio, and that Casio, if you touched it, the sticks you would get, they were you'd feel the stick before it gets you. You know that.
Like, so, you sit behind the keyboard, but you know anytime anyone sees me.
Sit. Standing, I would get you a proper. So back then, like that whole, thing of stigmatization, they wouldn't teach you. So I'd go back and sit with my toy keyboards and whatever my mom used to. But the toy keyboards and instruments of those days were not as plastic as they are today. They were like miniature replicas of the actual instrument. So if you press C here, it is C there. You get, but these ones of nowadays, you press something here, it is not even there in the real thing, like the sound, you're like, So I used to go back to myself and just tinker with things, and then I'd literally hear a voice talking to me. I got to realize when I was older, it was the Holy Spirit telling me, play like this. Then I'd hold 3 keys. And when I play something that sounds like, I did not, now it's a chord. So if I remember the first encounter was, I would look at Jordan, I went and remembered very hard, then I did this. This sound alone is a graduation from this. So just this has actually, now thank God for my mother. In family prayer altar, I would sit and play that for all the songs. You imagine all your songs, I'm just doing this. And they're not necessarily, as in, how did they withstand me? Then I first be bored after some time. Then I'm there, then the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit worked at my pace. He tells me, then you hold this. Chewed. Family prayer altar.
You have graduated from.
Did I get tired? So that was the process. So in those things, when God was teaching me, I would just see things and be able to write things, write stuff about someone. I'd see someone, that guy, he's doing this, he's doing this. The things that would get me in trouble. One time I wrote a poem about teachers and how they used to in my primary. I really did not mean to report. I did not as report. The guys there's a particular teacher, I think, or set of teachers that used to miss class. And I wrote, teachers, they never come on time. Take Mr. Hovich. Then I said, why is the poem? But then that day, the class teacher pampered me. The rest of the week, all the subject teachers beat me. So I did not know why. So he things actually report. So yes, I've always been writing things, and most times I'd get into trouble for my honesty, because me, I'd write it as I see it, as I feel it, with no prejudice to the person. I didn't even know them. And I realized as you grow older, hey, it's not everything for saying, okay. So yes, I've always written, though it became more evident when I grew up and went through, again, we had songwriting class back then in Watoto. There were experiences with different people and other different institutions, like as part of Generation 21, used to move. I went to Nairobi, then different places, and picked up the skills. Then eventually I started to teach songwriting. After learning the modes, and of course for every skill that I've picked up, God has always been there with me, literally. Adding, like literally, God is telling you, play this, don't do this, sing like this, it's better this way. So for me, every skill set I acquire starts on my knees. Wow, then the practical thing comes.
Do you experience the writer's block?
Writer's block? Writer's block. I believe I do, but maybe not in the way that most people do. For example, if words are, because writing has both melody and this for me, if words and tune can't come, the things that can block me are very simple. Okay, they're not very simple, but I know them. Either I'm sleepy, or tired, or I don't know. They're rare, but they're very rare. There's just the things that literally block me, meaning you stop me from doing that. Because when I'm sad, I will write for you, as in I will sing and write, and it will describe the situation. And most times I write when I'm sad, it pans out into the solution of what God is to me. I decide, because it's useless for me to write about what someone stole your, let me talk in adult life, they stole your phone. I'm going to sing, oh, yabiesimu, That's not edifying for me. I would want to sing like something. He took my phone, God gave me a new one. Oh, I thank Jesus, He's always providing. Like I'll just sing something. But all my songs end up there, so I don't think I really experience that thing.
You don't. Where do you pick the inspiration to write?
Anywhere, anything. Anything is a song. You can say something right now, and I'll sing it. You want to try?
What can I say? What can I say? Yes, that question, what can I say?
What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? So, I've just melodized it. If you want me to add lyrics to that and say, okay, the title is what can I say? Okay. What can I say when things go wrong? What can I say when I'm feeling low? What can I say? I'm feeling tired. What can I say? All I do is pray. As in, it's out of your thing.
That is genius. Oh, yes, behind the music.
Behind, there is a song for everyone. Discover the magic in your song. It is there for all to see. Behind the music is your soul. Behind the words and the melody. Oh, so.
I think we've gotten an anthem.
Copyright. Nah.
We might have just gotten an anthem. Do you write for other people? Yeah. And who have you written for?
I write for people. However, the people most times I write for, I kind of sell them the song, so it's no longer my anything. I'll write for them, and they'll be like, one of the things they'll make me sign is disclaimer forms. They are there. I can tell them to you offset, but then they are there. The people I've written for, they're a couple. But these songs, the kind of agreements we get into are, I want to sing. I don't have. You meet people with very lovely voices, and they probably have the time and the resource. Now this is another part of the production thing. They have the time and the resource. They want to sing. They don't know what to sing. They can't sing covers. Their music won't travel, so they'll go like. So I'll sit with them. Help them maybe write. Some of them will be like, Anzemi, write for me. Then I'll just write, teach them, we record, and they output their music. Others will be like, help me write. So I'll start with them. Most times they have only choruses, and we'll go build verses. At the end of the day, no mention is made of me. It is them. So those are the kind of, because of those things I sign, I can't mention them, but yes, I do.
You mentioned that you began production just for your own music. So at what point did you feel like, did you venture into helping other people with the production?
I began production for me, yes. And then you'd do things, and then you'd call people, and then they'll pop these ideas that, can you do for us also? Can you do for us? And then they'll be like, what we gave you, and you're thinking, okay. So it wasn't really, the focus was not on that, but eventually it went that. I'm like, okay, so I read a book called Making Music Your Business, and then there are all these scriptures about your gift will make a home for you and stuff like that. So along the way, I don't know at which point, but along the way, it started becoming more of, okay, let me do for you. Let me do for you. When let me do for you became a lot. It became, and then you drop off some people there. Then another group comes, hey, we shall pay. Hey, okay, let's work. So it grew, till time reached when I could find a way of almost seamlessly integrating both things for me and for them. So yeah, it became like that.
Wow, beautiful. So, because the thing we are also trying to let instrumentalists know is, and the other people, the songwriters, the producers, is that it's from what they are doing that they can earn a living. It's their passion. You can turn that into, you can turn it into a business. You can turn it. How best would you advise someone to go about that?
How I would advise them to is, one, at first, make sure you're really cold. Okay, the first thing I'll tell you is, I'll start from the perspective of, since you've used the word business, you have to make sure you have the rules of business right. Because business is in itself, it has its rules. That's why people study business, go to business school. So once you have those rules set in place, and they are anything from studying business courses to, the next thing I'd be like, what are you putting on the table? Then the layout what they're putting on the table, I'd be like, okay, what is your market? Find your market. Which people do you appeal to? Yes, you can do all these things, but what is your target market? Because it's pointless doing something hoping that anyone will. It's the same equivalent of driving a car and hoping. You don't know the roads, but you're hoping you'll end up in town. You just started driving, So find your target market. Get that in place. Then list the things that you need to facilitate that. By God's grace, if you have the money, buy them. And you've done your homework, set up, and then present it like that. So there's a procedure that you're going to do. First of all, make sure, one, you understand what business is. Two, find your market. After you've understood, find your market, get the equipment to facilitate that, put it there, and draw. But adding a disclaimer, make sure God is in your things. Kuvanga, you may be there chasing music, yet God wanted you to go and work on Wall Street as a hectic accountant. So just make sure that also, is this the right business for you? All those things are dealt with at onset. And then make sure you know the difference between passion and what's that other thing that people do, where they just hit on something one day and they're off, or adrenaline speaking. Will you, because the hard questions come in, will you still want to wake up and do that even when you're sure that you do not have the clientele or the market? It's not, will you really have that drive, or you'll be like, bigani? So we have to identify, what are you running on, passion or adrenaline? And business does not necessarily follow the rules of passion, but passion will sustain you when business is low. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep doing what you're doing. Business has jammed. Guys, come here, I'm passionate. I'll still play my keyboard. I'll still record my songs until it comes. So the passion keeps you going. If you don't have that, then business closes. Another thing. A guy closed the studio, opened up a fish factory. So you need to follow that line. Business, understand first of all what business is. Get the rules right. 2, find your target market. 3, get the things that you think will help you. 4, set up and roll. But first, number 1, present your Philippians 4:6, present all your requests before God and see what happens from there.
That is, I would call it James of wisdom. But I also want you to remember that there are no 5 or 10 steps to growing your business. So of course, after you have taken all that, and I hope you take down the notes for this, and you're trying to put into action what he has said, please remember you need to read a whole lot more. You need to do a lot of research as well to see how you can stand out in the market. But yes, we can make money from what we are doing here. You are a church, you're into church, you are a worship leader and music director as well. How has that journey been for you?
It has been very interesting.
Interesting is an interesting word.
It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy because one of the things I love to do is set up things and let them run. I think I don't like being in a place and I'm like the only one. For me, I have a saying, the more, the merrier. If I come on as one, in a month or 2 or 3, we must be like 5. Because again, it goes back to the thing I told you, our differences will make us, the differences that people add to the thing. You're like, it's getting better, it's getting better. So I'm not a one-man show. I want to raise, so sometimes that is not taken well in some of the places I've served at, and they want you to be the one there, even if you have your protege and other people there, somehow different leadership may be like, no, nothing will move until, and for me, that has always not worked out for me like that, because tiredness aside, kingdom of God for me is about multiplying. I mean, that's another thing I was really very evident. Watoto is good at that. Grow and multiply. Spread yourself. You're not going to live forever. Spread yourself. Diversity is good. Munje. Let's all put things there. Come, spread yourself and have many versions of you. Because even, as Pastor Gary says, even Jesus himself did not disciple everyone. He got 12 people. I mean, those are some of the key lessons I picked up when I was like actively serving Watoto. They got 12 people, put them there. And I'm sure those 12 also had another set. So that's the theory of multiplication. It starts from, so some of the challenges you face is you serve and train in some places and they want you to be the key person. It has been really, that one is tough for me because I want people, and my character naturally draws people. I'll be in a place where as one, within seconds you'll find 10. Adults, children, whatever you want, they'll be there. So that is challenge 1. Challenge 2 is you're not asking for challenges, but just talking about the musical journey of that is sometimes people are threatened, especially if you're in a place where people are also they're good at what they do, and maybe you just want to bring something else to the table and work together. Sometimes people get threatened and they act in very amazing ways. They get really threatened and you're like, but we're on the same side. It's not for.
So you're playing for the same team.
As in, what's up? And so those are some of the things. What else? Is there any other? And also when it's time for you to because my kind of calling upon my life, and I've really had to explain this to my family, is I grow things. I'm never in one place for very long. And God, I think, has this win-win with me of whichever place I'm taken to, because God is not about one-sidedness. If you go to a place and you're benefiting from there, then they're also benefiting from you in a way. So whenever I go to a place, I ask, okay, God, what do you have for me in store here? And how long until you learn your lesson or learn whatever it is. So as you're doing that, you're also giving out. I mean, you have to give out. Okay, that's how I look at it, as me, give out, and make sure you learn the lesson and learn it and become, because we're in a constant really getting better too. So you reach a place and probably that time comes and everything is in place, and now the living becomes a problem. Even if you communicate it well, you're taken as this one, that one, this one, the other one. So there's that challenge, and that's kind of sad because you've put things in place. If you look at where you've come from and what you've done, basically, there's no more need for you, and God wants to take you somewhere else for some reason. So it's sad, it's really sad. Then about the good things that has happened, it has exposed me to many people, very great musicians, and you go to a place and go like, this place has people, okay? I'm here and I'm teaching, I'm training, I'm serving, but oh my goodness God, you have people. You have people. Let me soak this up. Let me also learn from them. And it's just if you do this thing over at this like places, man, you can. There is nothing but like you're the best. Everyone has something to offer. Wherever I've been, they're musicians, they're singers, they're directors. Everyone has something to offer. So some of them you work on their belief in themselves. Others you add skill set. Other places you're just there for you to grow and learn. And so there's all that going on. So yeah, that's part of the journey.
Wow. That's a lot, and that's deep. I hope we also pick some of the things that we would want to work on. Do you also teach music?
Yes, I do.
Do you have specific groups of people that you teach to, or is it, would I come with my voice and I'm thinking singing is not my thing? Would you help with that if I came and I said, but I want to learn music? Would you also help people? Like,
yes, I do. I do. I do. As in, I love to pass that on. I mean, the only things that would have to be considered at the time. The time, what kind of arrangement? Is it paying? Is it God bless you? Is it, because it's very different when someone says, can you help me do this? That's a different answer. If someone says, I need to learn this. So are we talking about teaching you a skill? Because it's part of what I do. Part of what I do as part of the studio work. So I'll be like, okay, this is my time right now. I'm looking at per hour, per this, per that. So if you say, I'd want to be sure, I'm very keen on what people say. Other people will say help when they mean learn, or other people, most people will say teach me, and yet they actually mean help, but they're not modest enough to say it. So when you present what it takes, or this will charge you this amount per this, they look at you and be like, how could you? How dare you? I'm like, I thought you said so. So yes, but I do that. Though I'm very keen in the like the pre-discussion, to make sure what arrangement are we working on. Yes, but I do that a lot. So currently I do that with children. I move around teaching different children different skills, keyboard, singing, and in different places. And in the near future, I'm trying to set up a center where I can get everyone there to offer a different thing from what everyone is offering, and have children learn creative skills. But the difference, my thing is, you're also going to learn music the way God designed it. So those are some of the things I'm looking at.
Would you say, of course, as you go, as you teach, there's a lot of exposure and there's a lot of experience that you're getting, even for yourself, for you as the teacher. What are some of those lessons that you've picked up along the way?
As a teacher? Let me see. I've picked up, let me see. I've gotten to understand people better. How? Most times, people's characters are hidden inside the skills that people don't talk about, like music, art, and this and that. So you get to understand from one person, you can learn about a whole group of people who exhibit certain traits, and help me deal with people better. The people that I work with, or those that I manage them better. So it has opened up my eyes. One, it has exposed me to different types of people and how to deal with them. Two, occasionally someone will do something that will shock you and you're like, what did you just do? Or maybe if you're teaching a vocalist who's a good vocalist, and maybe, because voice, for example, someone can't be all raw. Some people will come and they have very good breath control, they don't know what it is, and for them they have problems with pitch. But when they do their breathing, you're like, how are you doing that? They're like, simple, I just do this. So you also pick that up, pop, and add it to your thing. So it teaches you, number two, it teaches you how to do your thing better. It teaches you, first of all, how to handle people better. It teaches you how to do your craft better. If it's whatever it is, there's always something to learn. And no one can come and tell me I'm bleak, I'm green, I'm zero, I'm that. Even in your zero, there is always something to learn from someone. That's what I go by.
Okay. Wow, that is awesome. So I would say people are resource, people are assets. We can't just write people.
Everyone has, each person, even if they came and were in your life for one day and they made you angry, at some point, unless they're just a demon from hell, but as long as it's a person, everyone has something to bring to the table. So I believe you look for, at least in my experience, look for what you have to. I mean, if someone can't be all entirely bad, as in, or entirely raw, like I said, unless they are, because spirits change, you know, direction and all that, unless they're a demon or something. There's always something about someone like that you can pick. It can be a simple skill of I've learned how to tie my shoelaces properly, to a point of maybe they've gotten something like, oh, all my life I've been looking for a sustain pedal, where, and you find someone and it's just for a day and they have a pedal and you just learn, where did you get it from? Hey, that's knowledge. So I believe there's always something to be learned from everyone.
Wow, that's an amazing lesson. Now let me tell you something about Albert Cook that I have noticed. He prays before anything. He prays, and it could be obvious, like, yeah, we have to pray. But I've also learned that sometimes we pick up stuff when we do not know the reason behind why people are doing what they are doing. So people just do them unconsciously and tell them, I've noticed you pray. I'm like, really? I don't even know why you pray. So I want to find out, why do you have to take the step of praying before everything?
Yeah, that's the easiest answer. I like to pray before everything I do because I learned at an early age. And everything you see here, everything I am, everything I can do, right from every breath in my body, I can do literally because of God. I don't mean it as people say, God helped me. God helped. God, if I tell you the story behind everything, like for example, I never knew I could afford such stuff. Right from birth, I never knew I could even afford a car. I never knew I could sing. I never knew I could be in certain places. So my life, right from my health back then, I would fall sick a bit, and I learned early that I'm sorry if I'm speaking low. Everything that I have, everything that I can do, whatever I do, starts and ends with
Good.
everything, like literally everything, because God has never let me down. When I'm stuck, I'll just pray, and even the times when I don't pray and it comes through and I remember, I'm like, really? Like, Albert, really? Like, really? So for me, I acknowledge this life. Anything I have, I own, from my family to my equipment to everything. It's because of God. So that's why it makes sense for me to pray before I do everything.
Okay. What advice do you have for instrumentalists, producers, songwriters, basically people in the music industry?
If this is actually, I picked this up from Mark Langa. It's a statement he used to use back then. If you keep doing, if you have passion, don't let it. Everyone is born with a gift. I don't care what you think. Everyone is born with a gift. Everyone is given an equal chance at life, regardless of how you look, how you grew. Somehow, I don't know how God works this thing out, but if whoever has come, in whatever mean you have come, you are given an opportunity to become something. So you can choose to go the other direction or the other direction, but you've been given that opportunity. So I believe when someone has a dream, has a passion, I'm hoping it's not killing people or something like that. Yeah, because that can be wrong passion, but things that glorify God, and it was good. I believe the advice I'd give you is, don't let your passion die. No matter what they tell you, they are not God. They are not God. If God has told you chill, you chill. But God hasn't told you, do not let your passion and dream die. Just pray for realignment with the right people. The right people, the right places. That is the thing that frustrates most musicians out there. You have this dream and then you land in a place and you probably, the devil is throwing you around, and then you go like, someone just quits being I know something. Because the people you meet, and then they're in corporate places, or you do these functions and someone comes from the crowd and they're singing, and you're like, hey, they're worshiping, and you're like, how did you? I sing as a child, but then the parents told me I'm wasting time. And the stories are amazing, but the things they are doing, even in their rawness, you cannot even do with your practice. That shows you there's a gift in them. So I believe people don't ignore your passions, follow your dreams. Not like some funny guy said, "But keep sleeping." No, follow your dreams. Never lose your, follow your dreams, never lose your passion. Never lose your passion. Never lose your passion. That will take, like I said, it sustains you. And also, a journey of 1,000 miles started with one step. And also the thing is, I've realized this, my friend Fiona, she's a prophet, and also Pastor Benita, my pastor, said something very important. When you, the realm, the spiritual realm, when you focus on something, God opens the door for that thing to manifest. Because I remember one time Fiona was preaching, and she said, God, I love you so much. I love you so much to a point that I can tell me what to do and I'll do it for you. God just said, anything you love, I love. And she was like, pardon? Anything you love, I love. Now, years later, Pastor Benita was doing her keyboard practice, and she hears, she's doing her keyboard practice, and then she had started learning keyboard, so she kind of had not, the times were not syncing because she had a lot of programs. So one day she was going to just sleep and ignore the practice. The Holy Spirit told her, get up, go on. And then she realized, wait, the realm, anything you show attention to, because now it ties in with what Fiona said, you show attention to and God sees that you love it, He opens that door for you. Like, for example, you start, if you look at everyone's story of how they come out, there's always, then one person came, then another. Don't you see things go like that? Then another person came, then they became two, then they became, who do you think sent those people? It's God. So focus on that thing you want, do it long enough, it will come to pass, and also always put God first at the beginning of every business, at the beginning of every success story, at the beginning, let me put, of every successful business, every long-lasting success story. There's always the footprint of the Creator, of the Father.
So basically, as we are building the foundation has to be G-O-D, God.
If you want it to last, that is.
Okay, so if you want to build a foundation that is lasting everything that you do, if you want to build something that is going to last for so long, the foundation, you have to build it on the foundation, and that foundation is good. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you, maybe to get your services, how can they do that?
My number always works. I tell people God advertises for me, but my number always works: 0792-752279, or find me on.
I think you're going to take that again.
Oh, okay. 0792-752279 for people who, that's my official number. And then on the side I have Warid 0704, same number, 752279. I'm also on Facebook as Shizo Drizzle. Shizo being a nickname Michael gave me, Michael Uma, for reasons of, because we used to talk in, what's the Shizo, what's the Drizzle, and yet he says that more than me. But somehow I became a Shizo, and then it stuck. I'm like, okay.
So it's the Facebook name, Shizo Drizzle.
Shizo Drizzle, yeah.
Okay.
On that, I'm on Instagram, but I think my phone is, now because of the work that I do, me and picking calls, we're not very friendly because I'm recording most of the time, or I'm training children or something. So I have a very bad record of picking calls. But one thing I tell people is, send a message, I'll always get back to you. But I can't pick your call every time. Believe me, people can testify. It's phones, But why it's a producer problem? Because even some, it's the same thing, But then send a message, I'll get back to you. Problem is, if your house is on fire, I may not be the person you want to call first. But yeah.
Chance-mate gets you that you're available at that time.
Yeah, it does. Because for everything major, I've never missed out. Somehow, and the people are like, oh, thank God we've got you. I'm like, it's even good you said thank God. So God positioned me to be there looking at the thing. So most times you never hear my ringtone.
It's usually in the silent mode.
Yes, and far away from me because of what I do. Unless I'm expecting your call, then there it will be, But most times, I'm playing music through some device. Of course, it will call through the thing, and I'll get to find you. So calls and me, messages normally work better. Or you can call. I'll pick depending on the time, because my schedule is so fixed. At times you'll even get to things after like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get back to you at the time, and then by the time people have already chewed steam, thank you, but man, if you understand then you will know. Of course, now I don't play the understanding card because you'll never understand people. So all I say is when you cannot get me, please send a message. I will get back to you.
Oh, but it's been nice having you. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to come.
A pleasure.
You know, the first time I met Albert, I told him, oh, baby, it's behind the music, we should interview. And he's like, I asked him, when can we interview? He's like, tomorrow. I was like, yay. I just love the excitement. And when we called him finally, he's like, oh, you finally called. And, you know, and we set up the appointment. And here we are. So thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
It goes to endorse us as well in what we do as Behind the Music.
Glory to God.
Yes. That has been Albert. Lots of wisdom that he has shared. I hope that we've picked so much. In fact, everything that he has said has a meaning behind it. Everything he has said is applicable. Everything he has said you can use. So yes, this is an interview that you want to go back to the very start. Now this time with a notebook, a pen and paper, and a very quiet place. With no distractions, and then now start writing whatever he has said, because in whatever he said there's something for you to pick and learn and put into practice. I've been dressed by Rosie of Rosie's Touch. Please get in touch with her and she will serve you whatever you want for your clothes. I've been Eza. Please don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.